A couple years ago, I went down to Tom's house. I always wanted to learn how to turn a snowman, so this is kind of my version, using what he taught me. I kind of like the egg shape, not so much round, but I kind of like this design personally. So that's what we'll be doing tonight. This is a kind of something different I try. I would make it kind of look like a sock hat. It's a piece of ash, and I wood burned it, put a little wood ball on top of it. So they're a lot of fun to make. I enjoy doing it. Always kind of cool seeing a different kind of woods. This is my very last piece of buckeye that I had for my mother-in-law's tree. So it was kind of punky. I had to do a lot of sanding on it, but kind of salvage it. So this is pretty neat wood. So this is just kind of a sleigh that I used to display when I at craft shows and stuff like that. Been doing a farmer's market this summer for the first time, and I seem to sell a snowman every Saturday. So they sell year round. People just love them. So they're a lot of fun. It's a simple little turning, but still a lot of fun to make. So, and I'll just kind of show you my version of it. I actually had a paint stick, and it's actually got, measurements on it. So I just use it when I lay it out, and I'll show you that when I'm ready to do it. So what I'm going to do is to make the base here, I'll just get my parting tool about right here. I'm going to cut that groove, then I'll make a tenon, then I'll put it in a chuck, and then we'll mark it out, and then we'll turn it. It's not a Powermatic, so we'll see how we do here. Now I'm going to make it round. Good enough. All right. It's real green, yeah. It was down in March. I live in Arnold, Missouri. So it was when that storm came through. It's actually down on the common ground in my neighbor's backyard. Just found out it's Korean elm. Korean elm. I didn't know what it was. So I do mine 3.5, 2 3/4, then 1 3/4, and then whatever I want to do with the hat. Sometimes I make real tall. Sometimes I make like a big Dr. Seuss hat or something. Those are fun. I know some people will turn it down to kind of more to size, but I like doing it this way. That way if I mess up, I can always go back and correct it down the line. So you could also, if you wanted to, so I'm going to keep turning in this way, then I'll come over here, turn it in this way. Some people like to do a center, so you kind of know the center. So you would just turn this round this way till you get to here, and then you just kind of round it over. So I'm going to leave that for now. It's a 1/2-inch bowl gouge. So when you're coming up here, I'll get my parting tool for the hat rim. when you're doing this turn, you want to kind of leave this edge, because if you get a catch in it or something, then your head's going to get bigger because you got to take more out for the hat. So you want to be really careful on this edge here. Get a nice clean edge for the hat rim. It's a 55 degree. All my bowl gouges are at 55 degrees. And Thompson tools. This is my lightsaber. Switch to a smaller 1/4-inch bull gouge. I'm going to make the head a little bit bigger. My personal preference on looks. So, just what I like. There's really, like this one, you can tell it's not quite the same. It'd probably make, yeah, except for the hat, but it doesn't matter the piece of wood though either. Like this is the same dimensions as this and that. So, bigger piece of wood, I might just add an inch on or another half inch or whatnot. So this one here, like, these aren't nothing extravagant. It's kind of like a nice, simple, easy design to turn. And this one, I'll get $48 to $55 for. So I thought I brought it. So I had one that was a log that I was turning, and then I guess bugs got in it, and I was at the hat here, and I couldn't put a hat on it, so I just turned it around. Then you can turn a hat, separate hat, like on a walnut or something. But I find the extra time that it takes to do that, you don't get that much more for them. So that's why I just kind of turn all different kinds of hats. Like sometimes I make a little gangster hat or something like that. But that's the most fun part, I think, at the end is making the hats. No, I don't do any. Like I said, I would burn this. I got a torch and torched it because of the ash, because of the wood grain. But other than that, no, I haven't tried that. Usually the wood, I don't know, I just love wood, so I let the wood kind of sell it, you know. Maybe if you had maybe a boring piece or something, you might want to paint it. So now I'm going to go through and kind of clean it up. Okay, hat. Retighten this since the wood's so wet. Yeah, most likely. At the end, I'll show you. So she asked me if it's going to split because the wood's real wet. So it's the pith on the bottom, so I drill a hole, and then I take a router and I route out the bottom just so I can put it on my belt sander. And I'll hold it to where it's sitting perfect. I'll put it on my big belt sander. So this one I turned last year, and that's all it cracked. And this was an ash tree that I took down that year. So it did pretty well. So I drilled down probably to about there. And then, yeah. People like it. Some crack worse than others. I got like this oak one. So this is a good example. This was a branch that fell off my mother-in-law's oak tree. Drilled the hole, routed the bottom. So that's how much it cracked from that. Can't really drill a hole in there, I guess, but I put like a lot of mineral oil too. This one I did, and I just kind of let it go. It was the end of the year, and I was kind of done, but put a lot of mineral oil at the top too and let it soak in. Bradford pear doesn't crack? Okay. Good to know. Sorry. I'm not done with it yet, but yeah, I'll probably change it 3 or 4 times. I've got my special berry tool that made get underneath here. Yeah, I'm not going to mess with that. So I'm pretty happy with that. So now I would sand it. Then I use, I'll sand it all, then I'll put shellac, 3-to-1 shellac. Then I'll dries really fast. Then I'll go over with the gray Scotch-Brite, and then it'll put a nice smooth finish on it. And then I'll use either like a Yorkshire grit, or I made a TD grit, or I made some my own stuff with paraffin wax on it that I'll use on there before I draw my face on there. So that's what I did here. So then I'll draw my face on there. And then what I do is I have with wet wood, I always, if you just use a brad point drill bit with a regular screw gun, it always wants to tear a little bit. So I bought some high-speed Dremel bits that I use. So, and I get a nice sharp, it's very sharp and round, so you don't see the little tear in the wood. So with dry wood, it's probably not that big of a deal, but wet wood tears, so I got these high speed with a Dremel, works pretty good. After you have that drilled, then I use Milliput. It's a little 2-part epoxy. You can get it in different colors. So I use black. And I'll put it in there and let it sit overnight. So I take it off the lathe. Once I'm done and sanded and everything, I don't put it back on the lathe. So then I'll let it dry overnight. So instead of using sandpaper, the easiest thing that I use is a card scraper. So if you use a card scraper, it'll flatten out the circles. Let me get over here. Sometimes that Milliput, you can see how it's cleaned up. It'll get down in that grain, and this takes the wood down, kind of makes everything flush. So then after that, I'll put my shellac back on there and put my, just hand rub some the friction paste on there. So that's that. Any questions so far? So the pipe, I do cheat a little bit. I use I could turn them, but I do a lot of bandsaw boxes and stuff, so I have a lot of scrap like walnut and stuff. So I use a cutter bit that's tapered, and that's what I use to make the pipes. So there's all different sizes for different size snowmen. Yeah. Yep, a tapered one. There's 3 different sizes. So I even got a small one for this little guy. So for the pipe, I used a little piece of wire for this one. And then I got it from Tom. I used the sparkly glue to put on top. So it looks like he's got a little flame going, a little fire going. And then I do turn, I don't think you guys need me to show you, for the noses. So I'll take a 1/4-inch dowel rod and I'll turn the noses, and then I'll just get my gauge, 1/8 inch. I use an 1/8 inch bit for everything for the nose. So I just turn that until it's 1/8 inch round. Then I made a board and I drilled a ton of holes in. I put this in there and I'll paint them orange. And then, you know, the good thing, everything comes apart. Like when people buy them, the arms come out. the pipe and everything, and you can wrap it around so they can, store it the next year and not break the arms and whatnot. These are the Dremel bits. I got ones in there, but you can see that. I get these on Amazon, but they work really well. So if you want nice, clean circles, clean cuts. The scarves I get on Amazon, I actually Googled like scarves for like dolls, like dollhouse. And these came up, different sizes, so you get these fairly cheap. For the dowel rods, Woodpeckers is a good place. I don't know if you ever heard of them for dowels and stuff. It's pretty good quality also. So this is what I use. For the pipes. And what else? This is that milliput. Does everybody know what milliput is? Everybody heard of it? A little 2-part epoxy. Keep mine separate in 2 bags, and I keep them inside. This is what it looks like. So a little bit goes a long ways. I usually waste more than I use. So I'll just take a razor blade and I'll just cut it, kind of the same amount. Mix it up, just press it in there. I'll usually glob it on there, then I'll get a razor blade and push it down into the holes and kind of get it as flat as I can. And what else? The arms. I was challenged by Mr. Barry to up my game on the arms. He didn't like my sticks. He said they're too small. This is my arms. So I got a river birch tree in the front of my house, and if you guys ever have a river birch, lose limbs all the time, but these are perfect for the Snowman arms. So I just clip them. Like to try to find with 3 little things coming off, but they're pretty hard to find. So I'll just clip these. I got all different sizes. But like in the fall, I'll just kind of, when I trim it, I'll just kind of be proactive and make a bunch of them. And then I'll just carve them. So I drill 1/8-inch holes, at an angle. And then I'll just carve the sticks, until they fit in there. And that's just my version of the Snowman. So. Any questions? Did I miss anything? No?
How many of those did you sell last year?
Close to 60 last year. So my goal is to turn 100 this year. So I'm going to be doing the Kimswick. Sold most of them at Kimswick Apple Butter Festival. So the chainsaw guy actually came and bought one from me. So I do really well there, and I do really 3 in the fall that I do really well at, and that's where I sell them all. So I could have sold probably more last year if I would have had more, but I didn't know what to expect. So, but they're fairly quick to make. They're fun. I just love seeing the different colored woods and whatnot in it. It's unlimited what you can do. So we'll see what you guys make next week or next month.